Hi friends, Scott Shade and
Jonathan.
Together again. This is pretty fun. And
Yeah.
yes, we're sitting in the same place.
Almost like it just happened.
As a matter of fact, we haven't moved since the last video. I should put a link to that one. What Jonathan and I want to do together, well, I'm just here for eye candy. No, I am here to make sure that Jonathan covers everything I'd like him to. What we're doing today is we're comparing the MK Midgie and the Burke Aluminum Session High D. You like both of these?
I love both of them.
Okay.
Quite honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll start with the one that's in my hand.
Well, let me tell them one other quick thing. It's our first review together.
It is.
So, I'm going to let Jonathan ramble. I'll get him to talk about some stuff that he hasn't talked about if he doesn't talk about it. And we'll share pricing and where you can pick up each of these whistles that Jonathan loves both of.
Very much.
Now, remember, if you remember our previous conversation, Jonathan often plays in public, so you want a bit of a louder whistle.
Yeah.
But you want a whistle with solid tone.
Yep.
That doesn't lose its tone as you're playing quickly or jumping octaves, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yep.
And you want to play expressively yet very quickly. So you're really after an all-around phenomenal whistle, aren't you?
We're asking a lot. Yeah, for sure.
That's okay.
Now throw in there, like I said in the last video, that I'm chiefly a bagpiper, so I'm trying to play a whistle really differently than whistle players tackle them.
There's
So it's,
nothing wrong
you
with
know.
that. Yeah.
All right, so we'll start with the Midgie, since that's what's in my hand here. I will start by saying that I have a couple of other MK whistles, and I've always loved them.
Okay.
I have the MK Pro Low D. I have an F as well that I really like. For any pipers out there, I find the finger spacing on the F MK whistle to be the closest thing to a pipe chanter I've played.
Oh, really?
As far as the spacing goes.
Okay.
Anyway, Midgie, let's see what we got. Alright, so we're clogging up a little bit there. Never minding my own quirks there, I like that I can play fast on this. It is very stable, more stable than I am personally, jumping between the octaves. And the volume's important to me, honestly. I play whistles just kind of messing around on my own. Who doesn't? But if I'm playing with a group of other instruments, I found with some other whistles that you get a little bit lost, especially when there's a sound system.
Yeah.
When I play a whistle sitting by myself, no matter what it is, it's a really loud thing right there in my face. But if you sit up on a stage and you've got a lanternfly, if you sit up on a stage and you've got a bunch of other stuff going on, you know, accordion, 12-string guitar, flute, you introduce other wind instruments, and then you're real hard to find. It helps to have a whistle with enough body that I'm going to hear the actual instrument, and I don't have to rely on the sound from the sound system. So that's important.
Yeah.
This meets that for sure. I had a sound meter out the other day in my kitchen when I was playing this one, and some of the notes I was hitting, it was giving me 98 decibels, which is that's up there for those of you who know those ranges.
Put that hearing protection in we talked about.
Right, and that's up there with the bagpipe gets up there. Honestly, well, the bagpipe stays up there, but yeah. Let's see. Let's play something else. See what comes out.
Do.
You'll find as I talk, I lose track of the details. Hopefully Scott can fill those in. Scott cannot fill in the notes that I also lose track of. So. We'll see what we hold on to here. What was I going to do? Ah, yes. Gordon Duncan tune, Pressed for Time. out of air.
Now, oh, okay.
Yeah.
A couple of quick questions.
Yeah.
You were talking about running out of air.
Yes.
And that's because, like you said in the previous video, you just like to fly.
Yeah.
And when you're flying on a fast tune, you actually have to, and I've given you all this tip before, now and then you've got to take like a run or some triplets or something.
Yeah.
And then slam the first one with a strong ornament or a hard double tongue, and then take a pause as though the tune is momentarily taking a breath. Take a huge gasp of breath and then start flying again.
Yeah, I like to look for even in faster tunes. So that one, I was just having fun. I lost track.
I love having fun.
I forgot to breathe. That's another new thing to me. On a bagpipe, you breathe when you want, right? But I try not to look at those gaps where I have to take a breath as a disadvantage. That gives you dynamics.
Yes.
You know, you can really accentuate things by putting that gap in there.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of faster things where I do that on purpose.
Yeah. Treat the gap as an ornament.
Right.
Yeah. Now, what about volume consistency bottom to top on the Midgie?
I like that. That's something it has for sure.
Consistency, you mean?
Consistency,
Okay.
yeah. I would say that where the Midgie shines for me is once you go a few notes up. So once you make it up to like that G in the lower octave, and then you go up from there, I think it sounds fantastic. You know,
Are you saying that the D, E, and F sharp are a little weaker, or are you just saying you particularly prefer the tonal qualities from the G up?
mostly that.
Okay.
I do feel that
It's not a knock on the bottom three notes.
it's not. I'm going to deliver one, but that wasn't. I do feel, especially when I first started trying out the Midgie, when you sent me yours, I feel like the bottom D, it doesn't have a big resonating bell note. And high D whistles don't always.
Yeah,
but,
and that's a price you pay, and it's a high D. Yeah.
yeah. But I would say by far the fact that you still have a good amount of volume on that bottom end of the scale, and then I really like the clarity of the notes going up into that top octave.
Yeah, it's not fuzzy or muddled at all.
No, it's there.
Well, what about, when we were talking about the MK Pro Low D, we were talking about that breath pressure variability that you're really getting in the from the F sharp up in the second octave. You're having to learn breath pressure. What about the Midgie?
It has some of those same characteristics, I would say. When you're getting, here we'll. Good clear notes, but you are having to breathe up on it a bit.
Okay. But it's not a challenge.
Anybody want a lantern fly?
Yeah, we've got these weird bugs coming out right now.
They seem to love me.
They do. You're so lovable.
Yeah. Well,
You're the dad of 6.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think the Midgie starts to get a little bit of like a breathiness to the sound when you go into that upper octave, but it doesn't take away from the clarity of the note.
Okay.
Some whistles out there do that breathiness comes in and it's kind of costing you tonal quality.
That's a great.
But I don't think that happens
yeah.
here. I think they're happy together.
Good.
I will say this: the Midgie, compared to some other whistles I've played, and we're going to pick up the Burke here in a minute.
Yeah.
It does take a little more back pressure.
Okay.
For me, I find that comforting. One of the things I like about the Midgie is that it requires the back pressure. I can tell you that as soon as I go out on a stage and I'm in front of people, I'm going to overblow a bit.
And this whistle can accept it.
This whistle is going to temper my own imperfections a little bit, I think. And I like that.
Does that... Now, back pressure is not a one-to-one... if you have a lot of back pressure, that doesn't necessarily mean that whistle's going to be a phenomenally expressive whistle.
Yeah.
Because there are expressive whistles that are medium and even leaning easy blowers. So,
yeah.
How about what about expressiveness. I heard you slowly slide into a couple of notes there. You were altering volume.
I love a good slide.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah, this one's good for that. I like actually doing slides on this. I will tell you, and this again is my own little idiosyncrasy. So bagpipe fingering, when you're playing on the bottom hand, you bring up a couple fingers, and then this pinky goes down. And so anything that I'm doing on a whistle, which is above those notes, I anchor this pinky down here because that's what I'm used to.
I do that, and I don't play the pipes.
And I think it's partly to do with the size of my hand because I've got decently big hands.
Wait.
Yeah. My pinky is just on the bottom edge of this whistle. It's a bit shorter than some of the other ones I've played, and it's real smooth.
Oh, yeah.
I know Scott's referenced before me putting electrical tape on the back of my MK Pro in a couple of videos a while back. I've been thinking about sticking a little piece on the bottom of this just to help me ground, but I haven't done it yet. So,
well, play something else.
Something else. All right. What else we got? Oh. Let's see if I can remember this one. And if I do, I'll tell you the name. Made it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, let's, Can
I talk about that tune before we do anything else?
Oh, yeah, do.
All right, so that was...
Of course you can.
Oh, geez, can I talk about that tune? What was it? Oh, that was Calliope House. It's a jig. And I wanted to bring that one up because we're recording this in Pittsburgh, which is where we're both from.
Yeah.
Right? Although we live outside of it now. There is an organization in Pittsburgh called the Calliope House, which is a nonprofit that exists for the sake of promoting music and then specifically folk music as well. That's
brilliant.
They put on concerts. They run lessons. I was double checking their website just the other day because I knew I was going to talk about them. They offer lessons and all kinds of stuff. They were started, their founder was George Balderos, who is a well-known bagpiper in the Pittsburgh area, whose son I played soccer with, incidentally.
Oh, fun.
And so that tune was written about his house, the Calliope House.
Oh.
Lots of people play it. Alistair Fraser has a fiddle CD with Calliope House on there. And a lot of people think it's just another trad tune. It's always been there.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's written about George's house here in Pittsburgh, Calliope House.
I love it. Thank you. Check that out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's all great stuff, but we said we're comparing this to the Burke Aluminum Session.
We did.
So let's jump in on that one, because you could sit and talk whistles all day long.
Oh, yeah.
And Jonathan and I are trying to maximize the fun of this opportunity of being together, because we've been wanting to do this. But let's talk about the Burke a bit.
All right, the Burke. So yesterday, Scott stopped by my house, and we were talking whistles, as you do, and he pulls out and says, "Hey, here's a Burke." Which I had just been saying, I've always wanted to try a Burke. I never had before. Before anything else, I will say this shares a lot of characteristics to what I was just saying about the MK, the Midgie. But I will say that this whistle in particular is probably one of the most plug-and-play, we'll say, whistles I've come across.
Because that's hard to do. It's hard to get a whistle that... plays expressively, plays with volume, plays accurately, doesn't lose tone when you're playing fast or pushing it, doesn't require excessive breath pressure, and yet it's worth buying.
Oh, yeah. And it just, it really, I mean, I'm going to say it again, it really astounded me that I could just pull this one out and just play it.
That's awesome. We'll play us something first, and then we'll gab more.
Play something. Let's see.
What did you play to the start with the MK Midgie?
What did I play at the start? Was it Gravel Walk?
Might have been.
Might have been.
Yeah.
That slips out sometimes. Yeah. It's important to me to be able to jump the octave. A lot of the faster tunes do that. And so that's Gravel Walk. You're just back and forth. What was the other one? Pressed for Time. One of my favorite, all-time favorite tunes. They both are, really. But they both do that. They jump back and forth across that gap. And again, we talked about, trial by fire, learn by doing it.
Yeah.
I picked the tunes that really hammered in on the thing I knew I needed to work on. And that's kind of why I picked those. And as is my way, skip the repeat.
I know. Well, when you're playing something for somebody, like as a demo, a lot of times just like I'm gonna skip the repeats. I was just thinking while you were playing, the folks at MK and Mike Burke, they need to be so stinking proud of what they've accomplished.
I would say so.
That's
absolutely
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, tell me some more about this whistle then.
All right. So as I expect was apparent from that, right? You wouldn't tell by my playing that this is basically a brand new whistle to me.
Yeah, I know.
And even though I've had it for a while, the MK I still had to I had to refine my footing with it, which is probably just me personally. But I mean, really, just straight in, great sound, consistent. I find consistent in volume, top to bottom. And I didn't talk about this with the MK, but an important factor to me with a whistle is the fingering that you use to play that C natural.
Yes.
And Scott's familiar with me talking about that because I go on about it quite a bit. And I think it partly comes from playing the pipes that I'm used to a specific fingering. When you play a high A on a bagpipe, right, that's my top note on the back, I would have one finger down. When you're playing the C natural on the whistle, if I'm doing two fingers down, I can handle that. Yeah. I can live with that. It's close enough to what I know. As soon as I got to put any other fingers on here, forget it.
Do you ever half hole the first hole?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. But Gravel Walk there's a whole run in that where you're just jumping on that C natural.
Right. So you need a good fingering.
I need a good fingering. I could not do that consistently on some of the other whistles I've had.
Well avoided.
Yes. I will say I'm noticing a trend. The two we're talking about here are the Midgie and this Burke Session Aluminum High D. I'm going to bring in, unbeknownst to Scott, I have here a Midige, which belongs to my father-in-law. I've played around with this for a long time. I find that the high whistles that have the larger diameter holes, those are the ones where I can finger the C that way.
I agree, yeah.
And I'm making a point of talking about it because I can't tell you how many YouTube videos I went looking through to find somebody telling me this.
Yes.
And I couldn't find it.
Yeah. And unfortunately,
I had to learn it.
Unfortunately, friends, because I like to talk about whistles you could buy today. The time has passed, and Gene Milligan, who made some amazing whistles, is no longer making whistles. And rats, because I wanted that to be still available.
Yeah.
So anyway,
but if you see them used, they're worth grabbing.
Yeah,
it's a good whistle.
Okay.
All right, so back to the Burke.
You could still buy new.
You can still buy new. Yeah. It has good volume. It's not as loud as the MK, and I don't know how well that'll come through in the recording. But
right.
Last night, Scott left this one with me so I could just feel it out a little bit. I was sitting in my kitchen, sitting on the counter, actually, is what I do, with 3 high D whistles in my lap, just switching back and forth, playing
good.
stuff.
Yeah. We should have recorded it.
Yeah. One of my daughters was in the room when I first started out, and I was playing the Midgie, dropped it to my lap, picked up the Burke, carried on with the same tune, and she immediately picked up her head and said, Well, that one's a lot quieter. So, in case you wonder how the kids feel about the MK in the house.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it has a good amount of volume. I would be happy with this, I think, on a stage with a bunch of other instruments. I have found that for myself, it's easier to overblow this one.
Okay.
And that's not saying that it's fickle or anything like that. It is very steady. That's just me personally.
Yeah, because you're MK Midgie blowing it.
Yeah.
And this is the MK Midgie. I don't know the official like Colin Goldie. We talked about this before. I don't know where those lines are, but the Midgie's a harder blower than the Burke.
Yeah, it is.
Which will lean you to overblowing the Burke if you're used to the Midgie.
Right. Well, and actually so that comes into the conversation. If I'm playing a whistle on a stage, it's probably with Carnival of Souls, which also we have sets that I tune my bagpipes to Concert A.
Oh.
And so we have a set, actually we used Gravel Walk in it. We play Gravel Walk, something else that was my idea. And then we ended with a third tune that when the bagpipes tune to A, it lines up with the others.
Oh.
And so, go ahead. And so what I find is it's hard for me to go straight from the bagpipe to a whistle.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
a harder blowing whistle, again, that's my port of call in that kind of performance
that
situation.
makes perfect sense. Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about? I want you to play something else in a moment, but tell me, tone, expressiveness, and speed.
Okay. This is a fast whistle.
It seems very responsive.
It is. If I'm being totally honest, I felt it was easier in that moment playing Gravel Walk on this one than on the Midgie.
Really?
Like I was saying before, the Midgie, you have to get to know each other. I feel like that's how it is. I love the Midgie, and I wouldn't give it up for the world. But if you want a fast whistle, this'll tick that box for you for sure. They both will. I would expect in a lot of settings having slightly less volume is desirable, which, this is a little bit quieter. I really like the tone of it as well. I think that this has a warmer, more rounded tone.
That's a good phrase.
Than the Midgie.
Tone's so hard to describe.
It is. And you get to make up words like the people who write the coffee packages. Right?
Yes, I find this to be very mellow, expressive.
With raspberry and, all sorts of other things that aren't anywhere near coffee. But yeah. I like the tone. Here, let's, because it is fun, let's do a little jump back and forth.
Yeah, do it, please.
And this is, we're not taking into account how precisely either one's tuned at the moment, where it is on the slide.
Yeah, we've come outside. These have been in the car. And so we didn't stop and tune them first, because with a metal, and Jonathan said this at the start as we were walking down to the gazebo here, that it's kind of one of the beauties of a metal whistle is you don't have to worry about a lot of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Once it comes to room temperature. Yeah. Okay, so jump in and do your thing.
Yeah. All right.
You can see which one he's playing. The aluminum's the Burke.
Yes. Yeah, well, Burke.
The Midgie's aluminum too, but it's anodized.
Yeah, Midgie will be second. I think we're going to try to jump in on. This is a tune by a million names, aren't they all? I call it, and in the bagpiping world, we call it the Jolly Beggar Man.
Oh yeah, okay.
It is also called the Red-Haired Lad, and like 16 other derivations of that. Tunes about the King of Scotland who used to dress up like a beggar so he could wander around and not be noticed. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. Switch. switch back real quick.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. It's funny. Jonathan talked about at the beginning how he noticed some of his ornamentation kind of more bagpipe resembles, and I think that tune was fairly representative of that. And
that's because I play that as a bagpipe tune,
right? Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that. You know, there's a completely different conversation Jonathan and I will have another day. There is a predominant, leaning preferred whole set of ornamentation that are traditional Irish ornaments. But then at the
standard.
A standard. But then at the same time, the minute you start talking about personalizing and expressing a tune, you've stepped outside of a legalism, which gives you the freedom to play as a piper, to play
your music.
Play your music. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, why are you playing an instrument? You know, for it has to be something personal. Well, any other comments you've got on these two
about
before
those two?
I tell them where they can pick them up and money?
Yeah. Well, they cost it. What else could we say about them? I don't know. I love them both. I really do.
Yeah.
MK Midgie definitely takes more back pressure. I hear in it a bit of a breathiness, like I said. A more, I don't know, what would you say? Maybe a more precise tone.
Yep.
Not in like tuning, but just like the tightness of the pitch that's coming out. Whereas I think the Burke is rounder tones. It's got more out of the spectrum.
Right. Got clarity on the edges as opposed to depth. Yeah. We're making up words again.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hang on to that. Yeah. Great whistles. I suppose we could hold them up side by side in case it matters to anybody. You can see the can you see? Yeah, you can see the Burke's just a tiny bit longer. We'll see they're even at the top.
On the current tuning. Oh no, that's not based on the tuning. That's the Burke being longer.
Yeah.
That could be based on tube inside diameter
and all that. Yeah.
And wall thickness.
Hole sizes pretty similar.
Yeah.
Actually, looks like the MK has a couple of the holes there. What is that? The E hole.
Number 5.
He's beefy.
Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise they're about the same.
Okay.
I like them.
Yeah. Now, you'll know that I prefer you get the best whistle you could get, but I don't want you to get a whistle that you don't like. And that's why we do comparisons like this. And I was going to have Jonathan do a review of each, and he said, how about a comparison? I'm like, silly me, I prefer a comparison. Because these two whistles, in many respects, are so very similar. And if Jonathan didn't do the side-by-side, you wouldn't get those subtle distinctions, because you're going to fall in love with one, and you're going to fall in like with the other. Yeah. And maybe you'll fall in love with both, but one of them you're going to love more. And that's why we did this.
Yeah, and certainly one whistle is going to suit you better than another.
Right.
That's not saying you shouldn't have tons of whistles, because that's the normal thing to do.
Amen.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I know. It's not. I was chatting with...
Do you know how many whistles you have floating around your house at the moment?
No.
I
don't know.
We have a lot of instruments. My wife has a music degree. My kids all play instruments, and we like to have instruments around. We were counting instruments the other day.
Oh no.
And there were, I want to say it was like 45 instruments that we have in our house of various qualities and types. But I was slightly embarrassed when my whistle count started outpacing all of our stringed instruments, when there are 3 people in the house that can play strings and only 1 person that plays whistles.
Oh dear.
So,
yeah. And that's, one of the friends in the community and I were talking just yesterday in the comments to one of the videos about, we talk about it as whistle acquisition syndrome, but really what it is you're searching for a whistle that you can use to play a ballad on. You're searching for a whistle that you could play a rapid, fast-paced tune in the house. You're looking for a whistle that you could do that same thing on both of those in a public setting or with other people. So you actually, because of tonal characteristics, you need a multiple set of whistles. I'm giving us an excuse.
Yes. I will say, I like a hard blowing whistle. I don't mind a whistle that takes a lot of air. But when you've got a sinus infection,
Oh yeah,
and your lungs are all clogged up and you still want to play,
you
an easy blower is the way to go.
you grab your Killarney and have a
You
blast.
grab the Killarney, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic sounding whistle. But,
Yeah, it is. It's
very
beautiful.
different. Yeah.
But if okay, no, I won't do it to Jonathan.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if right now don't do it.
Yeah.
Right now, if I asked Jonathan to pick up the Killarney, it'd be very squeaky because he's been playing the others. Well,
yeah, that's true.
So let me tell you where you can pick these beautiful whistles up. I'm going to put links in the notes to this video. There are going to be a lot of links in this video, in the notes, and that's okay, because we're trying to do something that's not just me and Jonathan having fun, because we're having a blast.
Yeah.
But we want to do something that serves you, the whistle playing world in the community. We need more people playing the whistles. But like I said, you want the best whistle for you. And sometimes that means spending some money. And in the world of instruments, when Jonathan buys an intermediate guitar for one of his children, he's going to pay as much as he would for a professional grade whistle.
Yeah. Very much so.
And
or for a piece of a bagpipe.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Jonathan bought a chanter, he's paying as much for that. A practice chanter, he's paying as much for that as a professional grade whistle.
Yeah, in a lot of instances.
Yeah, and so I'm just saying that you and I, friends, have fallen into a world of a musical instrument where you can really pick up high quality very affordably, which I love. So these two, again, this one's coming down to tone qualities because at the MK whistle site, the MK Midgie's 316 today timestamp. This is August the 31st, 2025. Man,
how about that?
The summer's flying, and the Burke from Burke Whistles is 290. Now, bear in mind. So that's like 10% difference between them, at not even 10%. So bear in mind the country you're in, shipping, tariffs, import taxes, all that stuff. I'll
subject to change without notice.
So I'll put some links to some other suppliers who might look more expensive on paper, but depending upon where you are and where you're buying them from, it might be your best deal. So shop around for your best deal. These are two amazing whistles. And Jonathan has more here, but we're going to close it out because he needs to go in and play with his children, and I need to go in and visit with a family that we don't hang out with enough. So until next time, this is Scott Shade.
Jonathan Shegog.
Happy whistling, friends.
Take it easy.